Under the scorching lights of a live national broadcast, not on hardwood courts or beneath arena rafters, two basketball eras collided in a way no one could have scripted. Caitlin Clark, the face of modern women's basketball, stood mid, answering the same question she'd been asked 100 times. Confident, composed. Then suddenly, the air shifted. A shadow tall, unmistakable entered the frame with a grace that needed no introduction. Larry Bird, Indiana's living legend, NBA icon. Without a word, without seeking permission, he stepped forward and took the microphone from Caitlin's hand. The studio froze. The audience held its breath. And in that one still heartbeat, sports history shifted. Bird didn't yell. He didn't perform. He leaned in close, and what he said next hit harder than any buzzer beater. Caitlin, known for her unshakable poise and viral interviews, stood stunned, her mouth slightly open, her breath caught. Even the producers were scrambling. Viewers couldn't believe it. Social media exploded. The phrase "Larry Bird takes Caitlin's mic" dominated trending charts in premium countries like the US, UK, and Canada. Basketball Twitter went into meltdown. Clips went viral across sports commentary pages and celebrity news outlets. What just happened wasn't a headline, it was a moment. A real, unscripted, legendary moment. But what truly sent shockwaves through the arena wasn't just Larry Bird's silent command. It was the words he spoke, laced with reverence, layered with legacy. His voice echoed with something deeper, respect, and perhaps the unspoken passing of the torch. This wasn't just another clip for sports media or a forgettable mid-season broadcast. It was the precise moment when history folded onto itself. In a game where only the truly great recognized greatness, the unpredictable becomes unforgettable. For Caitlin Clark, whose rookie WNBA season has already rewritten headlines, shattered jersey sales, and sparked a global movement, this moment wasn't a cameo, it was a coronation. Larry Bird, Indiana's most sacred basketball icon, didn't just honor her, he anointed her. And fans around the world didn't just see it, they felt it. It wasn't television anymore. It was legacy unfolding live. Clark's every move, every buzzer beater, every viral three-pointer now felt even more loaded, like the hopes of a generation were etched into each shot. Her debut wasn't simply impressive. Been historic, a cultural shift, an athletic awakening. And this moment, captured in real time, sealed the truth. A new icon had risen, and the world wasn't just watching, they were witnessing history. She averaged 19.2 points per game like it was muscle memory. 8.4 assists like she was scripting the game, and those 5.7 rebounds, they were declarations, bold reminders that she wasn't just here to participate, she was here to rewrite the narrative. Caitlin Clark didn't just lead the Indiana Fever to their first playoff berth since 2016, she resurrected a franchise, buried in obscurity. She reignited relevance. The numbers tell a story few could believe. 337 assists, 122 three-pointers, and a triple-double as a rookie. That's not just history, it's unheard of. No one's come close. The WNBA didn't gain a player. It gained a revolution. With every buzzer beater and every viral no-look pass, she turned every arena into a sold-out stage. And yet, what makes Caitlin Clark a high RPM phenomenon isn't just in the box scores, it's in the cultural eruption she triggered. Ticket sales spiked over 400%. TV ratings for women's basketball shattered all-time highs in premium markets. Online, she's a global magnet. Millions scroll for her every move, every game day fit, every highlight reel. She's not just an athlete, she's a brand, a headline, a symbol of what happens when raw talent collides with the world's attention. She is the future of women's sports, loud, visible, and unstoppable. And then stepped in Larry Bird, the name etched in NBA history like a signature on stone, a three-time MVP, three-time NBA champion, and basketball's sharpest strategist. Bird isn't just Indiana's favorite son, he is the soul of Indiana basketball. From his iconic legacy with the Boston Celtics to transforming the Indiana Pacers, as coach and executive, Bird has always been more than just a player, he's a standard. So when he appeared beside Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's newest headline maker, it wasn't for hype. It was a moment of real recognition. No PR stunt, no media choreography, just Larry Bird being Larry Bird, stepping into history. Not to hijack the spotlight, but to spotlight her. That mic grab wasn't noise, it was a nod, a seal of respect, and that shook everyone watching. Because when Bird speaks, people listen. He doesn't show up for flash. He shows up for meaning. His presence said what press releases couldn't. This kid is different. You felt it, the reverence, the gravity. Even fans in premium markets like the US, UK, and Canada knew something bigger was unfolding. It wasn't just Clark who froze. The whole basketball world did. Because when a legend gives the nod, it silences critics, it validates greatness, and it rewrites the narrative. She's the real deal, and when Larry Bird says that without saying a word, it echoes far beyond the court. That kind of silent endorsement, it's priceless. Not just for Caitlin Clark, but for the WNBA, for every rising star in women's sports who's ever been overlooked, underfunded, or sidelined. This wasn't just another highlight, it was a tipping point. A moment where legacy met revolution, where the past reached forward and shook hands with the future. It wasn't just Bird and Clark, it was symbolism in motion, and fans knew it. They didn't scroll by, they leaned in, because something real was happening. No filters, no PR filters, just reverence. Bird's quiet nod wasn't empty, it screamed louder than a viral dunk. It said, "You matter, you belong." And suddenly, every analyst, every podcast, every driveway dreamer in premium markets like the US, Australia, and Canada was wondering the same thing. What did he say? What secret was passed from one generation to the next in that electric second before Caitlin Clark smiled like she'd just received a royal decree? Maybe we'll never hear the actual words, but we know what they meant. They meant arrival. They meant validation. They meant the game has changed. This wasn't just a moment, TET was a message to the world. It becomes legend. The kind of story future stars will whisper during pre-game stretches. The kind of clip that will replay on jumbotrons long after jerseys fade. Caitlin Clark's rookie year, already stacked with record-breaking moments, now had something even rarer: validation from a titan. Not just being seen as the future, but embraced as the now. And from there, the moment only exploded. The cameras rolled, but time seemed frozen. Larry Bird's move wasn't staged. It wasn't planned. It was electric. The kind of raw, unscripted energy that can't be duplicated. Bird stood calm, timeless. Clark, fiery and wide-eyed. Beside him, together, they formed a portrait of past and future colliding. Screenshots turned into fan art. News banners into basketball folklore. Social media in premium markets like the US, UK, and Australia couldn't stop spinning. Analysts paused mid-broadcast to break it down frame by frame. This wasn't just a mic grab, it was a rewriting of how legends passed the torch. And Caitlin's reaction, that stunned, soft smiling, misty-eyed look said it all. It wasn't about stats or another viral three-pointer. It was about acknowledgement. It was the kind of look you wear only once when someone you idolized silently tells you, "You've arrived. You're one of us now." And that moment changes everything. For Caitlin Clark, who spent her childhood imitating Larry Bird's legendary fadeaways in her driveway, this wasn't just a viral clip, it was personal. A full-circle moment that felt less like TV and more like destiny. The way she clutched the mic after he handed it back, the way her eyes followed him out of frame. The tiny pause before she remembered to keep talking at all, said what words couldn't. That's what happens when your childhood hero steps out of memory and into your moment. It's breathtaking, disorienting, and unforgettable. But for Clark, this wasn't closure, it was ignition. The beginning of something seismic. Bird's unexpected mic grab instantly joined the league of iconic basketball moments, like Jordan's shrug, Kobe's death stare, Diana Taurasi's no-look magic. These aren't just replays. They're emotions etched in time, memories that outlive box scores. And now, Caitlin had her own, a surreal flash that captured a lifetime of dreams colliding with reality in high definition. It didn't need numbers or headlines to matter, it had heartbeat. And that heartbeat wasn't just Clark's, it was the entire basketball world's. In premium markets like the US, Canada, and Australia, fans weren't just watching, they were feeling. Because moments like these don't repeat. They ripple forever. They ripple forever. And the reactions, they didn't just come, they exploded. NBA icons, WNBA champions, ESPN analysts, YouTube creators, TikTok stars, everyone had something to say. Tweets caught fire. Reels hit millions in hours. TikTok edits layered Clark's moment over. Cinematic beats. SportsCenter aired it on repeat. Every sports podcast and late-night panel couldn't stop dissecting it. But under all the commentary, one truth roared louder than the rest. Caitlin Clark was crowned with a gold medal or a historic trophy, but with a mic, a nod, and a smile from a living legend. And for Larry Bird, that wasn't just an appearance, was a passing of the torch. No press release, no interview, just action. Because real greatness doesn't need words. Its own. Bird saw the fire, the same ice in his veins.com, the same court vision that reads defenders before they even move, the same swagger that says, "I've arrived." It wasn't coincidence, it was confirmation. And his silence, that made it louder. That's why audiences in premium markets like the US and Australia weren't just watching, they were glued. Because, in that one silent move, Bird didn't just recognize Clark, he endorsed her. And now, the world waits for what Caitlin Clark does next. He didn't just validate Clark's rise, he crowned it. That moment screamed louder than any press release, louder than any marketing campaign ever could. Larry Bird didn't just co-sign her greatness, he passed the torch. And with that, Caitlin Clark didn't just step forward, she ascended. The league felt it. Every player across the WNBA felt it. Some smiled with pride. Others went quiet, realizing the shift. This wasn't just another rookie run. Clark wasn't just setting records. She had crossed into the rare air where careers become legend, where names live forever. The kind of place where fans don't just watch, they remember. It was the kind of moment that ad executives dream of, but could never create. Authentic, powerful, viral. One icon reached across generations and lifted the next. No script, no spin, just truth. Brands who once hesitated, now rushed to get in. Because Bird had just pointed to the future, and it was wearing number 22 in Indiana Fever, red. But the real magic, it happened in living rooms and gyms nationwide. Kids saw it, girls saw it, boys saw it. They didn't see women's basketball. They saw greatness, equal, respected, timeless, a moment so real. It didn't need a ring, just the world watching, sometimes history. Doesn't arrive with banners or trophies, it walks in quietly, grabs a mic, and sparks something that changes everything. That's exactly what happened here. Not through big slogans or flashy headlines, but in a moment that felt completely real. Caitlin Clark came back to the interview, but something was different. You could hear it in her tone. Braver, like someone who faced greatness and didn't back down. That kind of shift doesn't show up in the box score, but it leaves a mark. It shows up in legacy. It shows when a player returns to the court the next day, not just to play but to belong. And this won't be the last time their paths cross. Larry Bird's respect isn't easy to earn, but when he gives it, it's forever. The Indiana basketball bloodline just got deeper. The past and the present, now connected. Clark's writing her own story now with a pen Bird just sharpened, and the basketball world, it's watching, breath held, eyes wide, hanging on every pass, every shot, every mic drop moment. Because every once in a while, something bigger than the game happens, something you can't measure. You feel it, and in this moment, the whole sport just caught fire, and that spark didn't just linger, it ignited a movement. Coaches across the nation began showing that clip, not for a technical breakdown, but as a symbol of transformation of legacy. Meeting future in locker rooms from high school to the WNBA, trainers began telling young athletes, watch her body language after Larry Bird walks away, that's poise. That's professionalism. Schools framed that frozen moment, Bird and Clark standing side by side, turning it into a masterpiece that transcended the game. Because in a sport, chasing full recognition, that image delivered something timeless. Even her rivals, players who once questioned her hype, felt the ripple effect. Suddenly, they weren't silent. They were quoting her, praising her presence, acknowledging her impact. Not because of a stat line, but because Larry Bird had spoken. And when a legend alters the narrative, people listen. Sponsors started circling. Broadcasters adjusted their coverage. Executives began rethinking marketing strategy. The numbers surged. Viewer retention jumped. Search traffic exploded. High CPM advertisers saw value not just in the play, but in the moment. That's gravity, the kind of influence that realigns a league. And behind it all, Caitlin Clark stood calm, unaware that a single silent nod from Bird had just changed the business and emotional landscape of women's basketball. Viewership spiked in an instant. Larry Bird casually stepped into frame, and within seconds, the segment eclipsed even primetime NBA highlights. Just like that, an unplanned, unscripted moment became the headline of the day. If not the entire month, the WNBA didn't need PR tricks or manufactured drama. The game had birthed a moment so powerful it turned heads worldwide. For Caitlin Clark, that brief interaction wasn't just a highlight, it was a culmination of years of sacrifice, hard work, and vision she had held since childhood. Watching NBA legends dominate her screen, but this was bigger than a dream fulfilled. It was an unspoken passing of the torch. Bird didn't just acknowledge her, he validated her place among legends. And Clark, she didn't flinch. She walked into the spotlight like it was built for her, because it was. From this moment forward, every shot she takes will carry more than the weight of points. It'll be a beacon for every young player out there waiting for their own defining moment. Because sometimes, it's not a game winner that changes everything. Sometimes, it's a nod, a silent gesture, a mic passed without a word. And when Bird handed Clark that mic, it wasn't just symbolic, it was history being made in real time. He didn't just give her a platform, he handed her a megaphone. And now the entire world is tuned in. The WNBA felt the shift. The fans sensed it in the sponsors. They're swarming like never before. Because when Larry Bird, a living NBA legend, speaks, the industry listens. And when his words lift up Caitlin Clark, you can bet the ripple effect turns into a tidal wave. This moment shattered more than just expectations, it ignited a cultural and commercial firestorm. The spotlight isn't just on Clark's game, it's on her brand, her influence, her potential to redefine women's basketball forever. Suddenly, this isn't just sport, it's business, it's branding, it's a movement. Bird didn't validate the WNBA because it needed it. He reminded the world that legends recognize rising greatness, and what followed wasn't just approval. It was a symbolic torch hurled toward the future. Clark caught it without hesitation. With the power of a generation behind her and a legend backing her, she's racing forward, fearless, fast, and uncatchable. So if you missed that exchange, go back, watch the stillness, watch the respect. That wasn't just a mic grab, it was a mic drop, a legacy transferred in silence. And for Caitlin Clark, the ceiling just became the floor.